Today on Inspired Money.
This is a bigger thing, in my opinion, where you're giving some people their life back on some levels. I mean, I talk to women that won't leave their house anymore because of what's going on with their hair, and will turn down invitations to go places or won't date or don't feel. I mean, they're just so many stories I hear, and the change in how they feel when they find out that this is a solution and it's not what they thought it was going to be. It's amazing. You get addicted to it.
This is episode 80 with CEO and co-founder of Wigs.com, Carliz Sotelo Moore. Welcome to Inspired Money. My name is Andy Wong, a managing partner at Runnymede Capital Management. Each week, we bring you an interesting person to help you get inspired, shift your perspectives on money, and achieve incredible things. From making it to giving it away, Inspired Money means making a difference, creating something bigger than oneself, and maybe, just maybe, making the world a better place. Thank you for joining me. Hey, Inspired Moneymaker, welcome back. If it's your first time listening, welcome. Inspired Money is different from other personal finance podcasts because we don't want to just learn how to live with money. We want to help each other to live richer lives, make a greater impact, and together, make the world a better place. Thank you for joining me on this mission. Today, we're talking to entrepreneur and business owner Carliz Sotelo Moore. Carliz started Wigs.com out of her spare bedroom in 1999. Nearly 20 years later, she's widely regarded as one of the leading wig experts in the world, and her company, recognized by the Dallas Business Journal as one of the top 100 fastest growing companies. Think about your hair for a moment. Does a bad hair day get you down? For so many, our hair is part of our identity. What if you lost your hair? I imagine that it could be pretty devastating. In this episode, you'll learn about building a niche business online. And yes, you're going to learn a little bit about wigs, like how changing your appearance with a wig can alter your personality and attitude. The importance for business to develop a passion for serving clients, and the key word there, serving, in doing something bigger than oneself. Now let's get inspired with Carliz Sotelo Moore. Carliz, welcome to Inspired Money. I'm so excited to have you on the show.
Thank you, Andy. I'm glad to be here.
Let's jump right in. What's your earliest childhood memory of money?
Wow, I polished rocks when I was about 6 or 7 years old and sold them and opened up my first bank account with my mom. And I can't remember how much money I made, but it was so much money to me at the time. Maybe it was like $25 for just picking up rocks it cost me nothing except my time to polish. So I thought I was in business.
I love that. Where was that? Where did you grow up?
So I was born in Alpine, Texas, but I grew up for the most part in Del Rio, Texas, South Texas.
So do you think you had an entrepreneurial spirit from a very young age since you started selling these polished rocks?
Absolutely. Yes. I always had something going and selling or collecting. I had a heart for causes. I wanted to save the seals after seeing a baby seal get clubbed on a commercial, and wanted to save seals, went around and told people horrific stories about the seals being killed, and collected money and sent it in, and then asked to please have them send pictures of the seals that I'd saved with my paltry sum of whatever I collected. But yes, I've always had a heart for either starting something or charities, yes, working for and with myself was always preferable to the alternative.
Well, you're nearly 19 years as CEO and founder of Beauty and Hair. I'm really curious, when you started the business, did you want to start an online business or a wig business?
Absolutely online. Back at that time, niche markets weren't really represented online. And there was opportunity for the smaller items in the retail market that weren't really represented yet. And so my thought was that there'd be 10 niche market items that maybe would drop ship directly from the manufacturer to the client. And in that, something would be a hit and maybe something wouldn't. But my goal was honestly to be able to have the freedom to stay home and raise kids and have, a business of my own. And it backfired a little bit because wigs and extensions and the hair industry really was primed for that. And so that one market really it was perfect. So we just kind of ran with that one and it became the focus. So we never really completely got to 10.
So it sounds like your original plan, it actually turned out differently.
Yeah. Isn't that how it always goes?
Can you talk about that?
Well, the original plan was, again, to identify, 10 different product or segments where we could drop ship. It was always online, but it was just different in that it wasn't going to be specific. We weren't intending on having, an office or growing it out that way, but it just grew in that manner. And then I fell in love with not so much the product, but the people that were buying these products, because hair, namely wigs, in many cases it was a medical need. It was chemotherapy or alopecia or just hair loss of some sort. And hair loss is traumatic. I mean, men, I suspect for everyone, but men, it's okay to have hair loss if you're a guy, but as a woman, that's not okay. And that's really, such a small thing in the grand scheme of things of your health, but such a big thing for us and how we identify with who we are and what we feel or look like. And so I fell in love with the client, and that changed for me. And then again, so did the business direction and plan.
So you started out wanting to launch an online business. How did you go about doing the research and figuring out what kind of product you wanted to sell? How did you get into wigs and hair extensions?
So my then friend and now business partner, as I explained what I wanted to do, he on his side was also kind of coming to the same conclusion, but through a personal experience of his, he ran across wigs and hair and said, hey, why don't we make this one of the things? Because he saw an opportunity in it. He's a German guy, and so I thought he said figs originally, but he said Wigs, and I thought wigs was a crazy idea because I don't know why. I just thought, well, that's just a crazy idea for online, but hey, what the heck? We need 10, so let's go for it. And it just worked. Again, it was, I think, just the right time. And it is hard to find, especially wigs, but wigs and hair extensions. It's hard. You can't just go to, Nordstrom's or, Sephora and pick these up. These are items that you really have to look for. And there's not much brick and mortar presence when it comes to that. And so it was perfect for the online community.
Interesting. So a little bit contrary to what one might assume, that it's the type of product that someone wants to see, touch, and feel when they're shopping for it. That opportunity doesn't really exist.
It was my first objection when he said Wigs. I thought that people want to touch it and feel it. And the truth is they do. And so this is why for us, the biggest focus is giving you the closest experience to touching and feeling it online. We do our own photography and videos, and to give you that feeling, because it's true. It is not something that lends itself as easily to online shopping as some other products, but because the brick and mortar presence is so limited, even in big cities. I'm in Dallas, and there aren't that many, and very limited. And of course, brick and mortar space is different, so you can't have, 2,000 items to choose from. You have a much more limited selection. And so even though it doesn't lend itself easily to online, it has really done well online.
So tell me a little bit about wigs. I understand that it is a growth market. It's it's an industry that I think is estimated to be growing at about 12% annually in North America. $10 billion revenue opportunity by 2023. What are things that are interesting that generally people have no idea about wigs?
Well, I always say these aren't your mama's wigs anymore. I remember peering over the countertop at my mom's hair pieces, and it looked like a squirrel had crawled up and died on top of her counter because there was just this puffy looking hair thing. Now the fibers, there are of course human hair to choose from, but the fiber, the synthetic fiber, is phenomenal and looks and moves and feels so much like human hair. Now I see so many celebrities embracing hair in general, wigs especially, because the truth is you trash your hair every time you put chemicals to it, you dye it, you curl it, right? And so wigs makes life very easy to kind of change it up, just like you would shoes. You can now change your hair. And the celebrities, sometimes we're such lemmings in our country with what celebrities do. And celebrities, they have the freedom to go out and start new trends and try things. The celebrities have really embraced it. And so because of that, all of us, the rest of us, have really opened to trying wigs. The non-medical need people is growing exponentially. That's those of us that are wearing them for fun, and they are fun, and you can't tell. And so it's not a, back in the day you would say, "Oh, I wear wigs," and someone would go, "Oh," and you would assume something's wrong. And now it's just something fun. It's an accessory, or it's becoming that way.
I saw a YouTube video of you where you yourself tried different wigs for 88 days. Can you explain how that came about and what that process was like?
Yes. So I'd been in the industry for quite some time at this point and was getting interviewed, and she said, "Oh, I bet you wear wigs all the time." And the truth was, at that time, I wore them to try them on around the office here, and if I had a costume thing to go to, but I didn't really wear them. I wore extensions and hair pieces all the time, but not really wigs. And so I felt like a bit of a fraud. My answer was, well, of course, if you want to change something up, wigs is the obvious choice. And so I skirted the answer, but I felt like a fraud. So I decided I was going to go for, I think my initial time frame was a week, and wear one every day. I didn't tell anybody, just in case I didn't follow through. And I wanted to wake up in the morning and get dressed just like normal, but with a wig, and wear it all the way through till the end of the day, like our clients do. And I started that, and to make a long story short, I wound up going 88 days, and only because I think it was just the end of the year, and that just became like a hard stop for me. I could have kept going. It was amazing. I had so much fun. I found different colors, gave me almost a different personality. I know that sounds weird, but it's true. I experienced people differently when I had different color wigs on. I just realized that there were so many things I learned by doing it every single day, and I fell in love. And so now I wear them pretty often, dirty hair days, or not getting to my colorist in time, or just laziness and, putting on a perfect wig style as opposed to having to stand in front of the mirror and style my own hair. So yeah, I fell in love with wigs kind of late in the game, but I did.
Did you have preconceived ideas going into it before you actually tried it?
Yes. I thought they were going to be hot and itchy. I thought people were going to be able to tell that I was wearing a wig, and why that would be embarrassing, I don't know, but there was a self-consciousness about it, a self-conscious like, oh, they're going to know. And I felt the first week or so, I kept having to adjust it because I thought maybe it's moving, or I thought it would fall off if I did the wrong thing. None of those things turned out to be true. The truth is, most of us walk through life kind of maybe going through all our own insecurities in our heads that we're not really noticing the other people. And I had so many people go, oh, your hair looks gorgeous today, or have you been doing something different with your hair? And they've been seeing me, at my daughter's school. There was some teachers that it took a few weeks to notice that something's different with your hair. People just, they don't notice like you think that they do. And none of those things I thought really were true at all. The itchiness I found out was because I was putting my hair up incorrectly underneath. I mean, there were so many things I learned through doing it that it really helped me in moving forward with creating videos and content for our clients on the website. It was the best thing I ever accidentally did.
Well, it's super interesting because I think it kind of shows how we're all self-conscious. I mean, many of us, we don't want to wear glasses, or we feel self-conscious whether we have glasses or don't have glasses on. And when it comes to your hair, it dramatically, or it can dramatically make your appearance very different.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
whether it's the color or the length in the style.
Well, and the way you kind of face the day. There's a difference. When you feel like your hair looks good, or you look good for that matter, you face the day in a different way. Your eyes kind of, you meet people in the eye, you walk in a different way, you present yourself, you carry yourself differently. And so again, I know hair is not the biggest deal when it comes to our health and our appearance, but boy, it sure makes such a difference.
Yeah, you mentioned that over the process of starting your company and running your business, that you really did fall in love with serving your customer. And that's really a core part of it, right? It's that you are making your customer feel good. You are empowering them. I see on your website and in the YouTube videos, a word that comes up frequently is confidence.
Yes, I think confidence is beautiful. I think that's beauty. And if that's all we can accomplish is getting that over to the client, then I think we've done something really big, because with confidence, everything changes, doesn't it?
For sure. So in that way, I think from you at the top and then trickling down throughout your company, has that been a major shift in your motivation and your mission? Yes.
We've got such an amazing team. I mean, everybody here is pretty passionate about what we do. And I really think if you're here any period of time, you do, like me, I'm not unique. You fall in love with the client and what we're doing, and you really feel like you're making a difference. We're not just selling lipstick. And listen, lipstick is important. I don't leave the house without it, but this is a bigger thing in my opinion. You're giving some people their life back on some levels. I mean, I talk to women that won't leave their house anymore because of what's going on with their hair, and will turn down invitations to go places or won't date or don't feel. I mean, they're just so many stories I hear, and the change in how they feel when they find out that this is a solution and it's not what they thought it was going to be. It's amazing. You get addicted to it, and the whole team feels this way. I mean, we've just got an amazing team. It's a small company, but everybody really has kind of grabbed onto that love for what we're doing and for the client.
Can you give us a little insight into the business, how it's developed? I see that there are many different entities. There's wigs.com, hairextensions.com, hairpieces.com. Maybe you can talk about some of the different divisions, but how many employees do you have, and how have things developed over time?
Well, of course, we started small in my third bedroom, and currently here in Dallas, the corporate office, we have the call center and the marketing department, and the corporate office is probably about 25 of us, 28 maybe. And in Kansas City is our warehouse and fulfillment center, and an equal amount there as well. So we're of course growing, but still pretty small. And it's beauty and hair is the umbrella, if you will. Wigs.com is the main website, and it is our bread and butter, I suppose. And we've got hairextensions.com, hairpieces.com, beauty mark. So the hair pieces and the hair extensions are a bit smaller because you can find hair pieces and extensions, all over the place. Very hugely varying qualities of what you're finding, but they're everywhere. You see them in kiosks in the middle of the mall. I mean, you can find those a little easier. Wigs, not so much. And the client base for wigs is well, huge, and definitely in much more need of education and assistance through this process. So wigs.com is where our main focus is. Hair pieces and hair extensions and the others are also, the hair extensions is a separate site. Hair pieces will just feed in to it, and it's just a matter of what people are searching and why we have those separate sites like that. If you want to look for hair extensions, you might not really want to see wigs. So there's just a site dedicated for that.
I see. So it's about being niche within the niche business.
Yes.
And for SEO, so that people, depending on what they're searching for,
Correct.
They can find what's appropriate for them.
Yes.
I know that women-owned businesses, I frequently see the figure that it's harder for women founders to get funding. Like, what was your experience when you started your business? Did you have a need to get investors to help you start, or what was your experience?
Thankfully, we started at a time where the barriers to entry weren't what they are now. Gosh, you could advertise on Google for free. It didn't cost any money. It was very different. And so no, I didn't have to go find money anywhere. Thankfully we had it, but it was a shoestring budget for sure. There was belt tightening, and it was definitely shoestring initially, but did not have to seek funding, thankfully.
The show notes for this episode can be found at inspiredmoney.fm/080. If you're listening in your car or wherever you are, check the show notes if you want to learn more about Carliz or things mentioned in this episode. It's time for the Runnymede Money Tip of the Week. It's Money Saves Week, so let's talk about savings. Now, I think one area worth looking at is recurring subscriptions, because it can be one of the biggest drains on your bank account. One reason is that cable TV providers, for example, are known for increasing your rates over time, and you may not even notice it. Or in some cases, you may not even remember you have a subscription to something. Here are a few ideas for you to check today. First, regularly review all charges on your debit or credit cards. This is a great way of keeping an eye on your subscription payments, but it's also good in order to monitor for fraud if you see any strange purchases that you didn't actually make. Second, don't keep multiple subscriptions that serve similar purposes. If you have cable, why do you need Netflix? Or if you've cut the cord, do you need both Netflix and Hulu? Can you make do with just one? My brother was saying to me the other day that he's having a harder and harder time finding things to watch on Netflix. Maybe he's already binged on all the shows that he's interested in. If that sounds like you, and you've already watched the top shows, you could alternate between services. The biggest savings, of course, will be finding and canceling any subscriptions that you aren't using anymore. This could include music streaming services, magazines, or gym membership. Whatever you can cancel means extra money in the bank every month, and you may be surprised how much you can save in a year. That's the Runnymede Money Tip of the Week. Inspired Money is brought to you by Runnymede Capital Management. We help you to plan, invest, and worry less. I'd love to hear from you, and not by email or voicemail. Do you want to talk for 15 minutes? Go to inspiredmoney.fm/15. That's inspiredmoney.fm/15 to set up a time. I'd love to have a short chat with you. We can talk about this podcast, your savings, your investments, whatever. This is Inspired Money. I'm Andy Wong. Well, as you describe the corporate office and fulfillment center, it certainly does seem much different than your original vision where you just wanted to drop ship product, which seems like, the lowest barrier. And it's like you set up a website and then you're just matching the buyer and seller. It's much more complicated than that.
Yes, but you gain a lot more control on the process. It allows you to it worked in the very beginning when we were small, but as you get bigger, you've got people ordering from 3 different manufacturers, and the opportunity for serving the client is so much better when you're housing that fulfillment center yourself. And so it just gradually kind of moved over to that, and I really like it. It allows us some marketing opportunities within the packages that we send out. Marketing and educating are really how we keep growing, and having our own fulfillment center allows us that.
So you are an online retailer. You don't manufacture a product, do you?
Yeah, we are an online retailer. We do have our own line that we brought over from Germany, and we represent it here. And so in that respect, we operate as a manufacturer with that line. It's a beautiful European line called Ellen Villa. And so in that respect, we do operate like the manufacturer, but no, we are a retailer.
I see. And how many products do you keep in your inventory?
Oh, gosh, that's a good question. On our online inventory, there are a couple of thousand. In our warehouse that we keep stocked, we really focus on, maybe our top 500 sellers.
And over time, as your business has grown, what do you think are the secrets to your success? I'm hearing education as a big component.
Yeah, I really think, this is going to sound really corny, I really think if you truly care about what you're doing and who you're doing it for, I think that really makes all the difference. I mean, just kind of being part of something bigger than yourself and having a goal or a mission, whatever you want to call it, that allows you to kind of get out of yourself and serve. And I think that makes a difference. And I think people feel that at the end of the day.
And I think that you very consciously listen to your customers and listen to what it is that they're looking for in the products. How do you build that into the way that you work?
Well, we have very vocal clients. I think people love to give you their opinion, and we look for those opinions. We survey for those, and we're very open to hearing what our clients have to say. And thankfully, even though we've been around for a long time, we're pretty agile and still small in that we can kind of move left and right when the client says that there's something that's a need. For instance, our return policy did not seem to be the favorite thing that a lot of our clients had a couple of years ago. And so we moved in that direction more towards what they wanted. Education-wise, when people are asking certain things or products are coming back for a certain reason, it highlights a need that our clients want to learn about or hear about or change. And so it's just always been a part of how we do it. So we don't consciously have to build it in. It's just, I guess we just keep one ear down to the ground and keep moving forward. For the most part, e-commerce, clients just expect certain things, and that changes over the years. And if we can try to keep up with that, I think we're doing well.
What kind of changes have you seen over time?
Oh, in the beginning, I think it was just okay to have like an online catalog, and people did not expect much more than to find, a good picture of what you're buying and, better pricing than a brick and mortar. And that was really it. And over the years, I think the clients become more sophisticated. They want more views of the product. They want, maybe more pictures. Definitely video has become something that most clients need or want before purchasing. Reviews from other peer clients, also very important, as to where 15 years ago it just wasn't happening. More, again, back to education, more education, you're buying something that you really can't touch. And so you have to give as much as you can to where the client feels comfortable enough to hit that buy button. And the client expects that now. They expect free shipping is something that you just didn't get 10 years ago, and it's kind of expected now. Just as it changes, that client expects and quite obviously has the freedom to not shop if you don't give them what they feel is standard now online.
Carliz, what's the average price point of your products?
I believe our average sale is somewhere, I might get this wrong, somewhere around $230 to $240.
Is there a pretty big range from entry-level price and then on the high end?
Well, it's sure. Just like with anything, there's levels of bells and whistles, of course, that you can choose. We'll talk about wigs. A good basic wig that's still a good quality wig, but synthetic. Human hair, of course, the price goes exponentially up, but synthetic fiber, which is still great, you can get for $150, between $100 and $150. The cap construction, what the cap that's under the hair can vary with features that make the part, for instance, the part of the hair look completely natural where you can't tell that there's a wig, makes the front hairline with a little lace feature that lays against your skin and almost goes invisible, so you cannot really tell you have a wig. All those extra features, of course, the price goes up and up. And then you've got human hair. And human hair is, well, that's been crazy how it goes up. But you're a good solid human hair piece that has all the features to look very natural and be pretty much undetectable. You're going to pay about $1,500 to $3,000.
Yes, my daughter is still growing out her hair to donate. I'm not sure where that's going to end up, but
have her send it to Children with Hair Loss. It's a great company that gives the hair to children in need and supports them year after year. Wonderful organization, Children with Hair Loss. My daughter cut 9.5 inches to do, and that's such an awesome thing that your daughter's doing. That's really great that she's doing that.
Okay, Children with Hair Loss.
Yes, I would love for you to send pictures of your daughter doing that, and write up a little something, and we'll brag about her on our blog and on our social media posts, because that's such a great thing, and maybe it'll inspire somebody else to do it too.
Absolutely, I will definitely do that. Yes, we are. At least, yes, her parents are eager for her to cut her hair. It's so long, and she has a lot of hair. So.
Yeah, my daughter did too. 9.5 inches came off, and she still had a nice length hair left over. So that's great. That's nice to hear.
So tell me, what are some of the challenges that you've experienced in your business?
Oh, gosh. Yeah, there's challenges all the time. I feel like, so much responsibility to make the right decisions. You have, at this point, 50 people depending on you not to screw it up, right? Oh, can I say that on a podcast? Sorry.
You can say that.
Okay, good. So, there's challenges all the time. For me, the challenge with respect to getting it right for the client is, just that, getting it right for the client, right? Helping them to get the right thing the first time. I mean, I imagine somebody nervous, scared, confused, frustrated, or just completely ignorant about what to do or what to choose, but needing it. And my fear is that they'll pick the wrong thing or have an experience that will lead them to say, yeah, this isn't for me, and just go without, or, wear a scarf all the time. And that pressure makes me feel like I have to get it right to help them find a match of some sort, because without that, it can turn them off to the whole experience, and that wouldn't be good, because they would miss out on really understanding what a solution this could be for them. So for me, that's my biggest challenge, is just helping that client get it right.
Yeah, so it sounds like it doesn't matter if you are selling wigs or you're in a business like mine, we're financial advisors. It's all about how do you build trust with your customer, and how do you deliver a good customer experience? Yes,
of course. Yeah. Well, anybody that cares wants to take care of their customers. So you're right. It doesn't matter what we're representing. If you care, you want that customer to have the best experience and come back, of course.
Right. Absolutely. So you've been running your company. You've been CEO for almost 20 years.
God, so crazy. Yeah.
Have you had business mentors along the way who have helped you?
Yes. Of course, there have been consultants, or the manufacturers, heads of some of the manufacturers we work with have been, they've been in the business so much longer, and they just have so much wisdom, and they help you along the way for sure.
And are you seeing the flip side of that at all? Like, what advice do you give young people today who are interested in starting their own business?
So I will always say, take a risk. Don't be afraid to take a risk. If it's in your gut and you want to try it. Regret is something that is no fun to live with, right? And so you don't want to look back and go, gosh, I really should have tried that, right? No, you got to know when to let go, but you do need to go out and take that risk if it's something you want to do. And so that's the advice I would give. I have some people here in our company that are just have so many similarities and remind me of myself when I was that age. And I love mentoring, I guess, if that's the word to use, but I am completely open and really love when they ask for advice, and I can see that I'm making an influence on them. That's so much fun. And hopefully I'll get to keep doing that, because it's fun. I don't know how much I know, but I'm happy to share what I do know. And that really is rewarding to see somebody kind of grow from what they've picked up from you.
I love what you said about taking the leap and not wanting to live with regret. That is huge. You mentioned earlier that from a very young age, you were entrepreneurial, but you also had a desire to support causes that were important to you. Can you talk a little bit about charity and working with organizations where you can help people?
Yeah, well, with what we do, there's so much opportunity to get involved with charities, and I have a heart for kids and children's charities. Namely, there's one that we've been involved with for years now, named Alex's Lemonade Stand. Started a little girl who had cancer that started a lemonade stand to raise money for R&D, and of course it outlived her, but her parents kind of picked up that torch and went on with it, and it's turned into a nationwide cause now, and it's beautiful story. If you have time, you should go look it up. Beautiful story. We work with breastcancer.org. Right now on our website, you have the opportunity to add a few cents to every purchase, and we donate that straight over to breastcancer.org, which they're doing great things as well. So for me, I love charities that give most of their money back towards helping, research, development, and helping instead of the administrative costs of running that charity. And so that's important to us as a company. And we do a lot of small things here, and a lot of people in need reach out for us, and we are not really one to say no very often when it comes to that. And I'm thankful we can do that.
I love that. I like to ask all the Inspired Money guests, how do you define success?
Feeling like you make a difference. Doing what you love to do, and irrespective of how much money you're getting paid, but just feeling like you're making a difference.
I love that. Pretty simple.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a pretty easy benchmark.
Yeah.
Or at least, making an effort.
Yeah, I do too. How do you define success?
Oh gosh, no one's ever turned the question around on me before. I think that whatever it is that you're doing, find your purpose, because you want to be doing something that you would do even if you were not being compensated. I think that's sort of like, that's like a nice bonus, if that's the case. Then like the money is almost secondary. I mean, if you're lucky, you can do what you enjoy and what you feel a purpose of doing. And then if you're compensated, it's even better.
Oh, Andy, I agree with that. I like find your purpose. That would look good on a t-shirt. I like that one.
Okay, well, maybe we can have a second business.
There you go. There you go. I like it.
Carliz, do you have an Inspired Money tip that you can share with our listener that has had a big impact on your life?
We talked a little bit about this before. I'm not much for financial advice. You're the one with the impressive financial background, so I would, we'd all be served better if you were to give that tip. But I'm going to go back to the same thing that you asked me when it comes to what kind of advice I'd give somebody coming up, and that's to take a risk, but kind of know when to let go. I mean, sometimes you don't want to stay clenched onto a sinking ship, of course, but I just think that taking a little bit of a risk will serve you well in life, and especially if you can follow your gut. I think that would be the only thing I could say.
Well, since you're a very experienced business person, how does one know when to be persistent and when to pivot?
That's a good question. I think like with anything else, your gut kind of knows when you're getting something. I think if it's nothing but negative and downside, I think holding on does not make sense, right? But I think you can kind of follow those little breadcrumbs as you go. And when the breadcrumbs stop, it's probably time to realize that you've lost the trail, I would think.
Yeah, follow your gut. Well, sometimes the answer is not clear until much later.
That's
it's
true.
Like It's like hindsight's 20/20. You say, "Oh, now I know the answer."
That's right. Yeah.
But at the time, it's not always clear. You're just trying to make your best effort and best decision that you can in that moment.
That's very true.
Well, thank you, Carliz. Thanks for sharing your inspirational story of your business and successes and supporting charitable organizations. Can you tell the Inspired Money listener where they can follow you and learn more about your companies?
Well, if they can go to our website, you can go to wigs.com or beautyandhair.com, and your preferred social link method there, we have all of them there to choose from. I would invite everybody just to go to wigs.com and take a look. And this isn't a shameless plug. Well, it kind of is, but it's more to really just see how so many people have a misconception and see. And I bet it will be surprising to most people. And just go take a look at the website. And then there's the social media options there for people to follow should they want to do that.
Awesome. I will go do that, and we'll add the links in the show notes page so that people can reference that. Thank you so much, Carliz.
Thank you, Andy. It was a pleasure.
So what was your favorite inspired money moment? I like that even though selling wigs and hairpieces may not seem like changing the world, Carliz talked about how the wigs they sell can empower people with confidence. Give people confidence one customer at a time, and there can be a significant ripple effect on the world. I also liked her comment that regret is something that is no fun to live with. So if you've been thinking about doing something or want to do something, go out and take that risk. If you had a different favorite inspired money moment and takeaway, let me know by going to inspiredmoney.fm/Facebook. Let's continue the conversation there. I appreciate you joining me and being a part of this mission to make our money more inspired. If you got inspired today, please open your podcast player right now and leave a review. I'd really appreciate it. The music you're listening to right now and all other music on today's show is by the amazing Jim Kimo West. Aloha, Kimo. Have an inspired week. Do something that scares you, because that's where the magic happens. See you next time.